you know you really can't stay here any longer. You've been here for 6 weeks, and you know that if they find out that you're here, they can evict me. And the neighbors around here see you coming and going in, so I think that you're going to have to leave now. You haven't got a place. I know that, and I feel bad. But I can't lose my home either.
I'll come check on you.
You'll check on me and I'll check on you.
We got a tent. We were living underneath a bridge on a riverbed.
So that through this tiny fragment, through these two boys, how and when did you decide to tell this big story through this couple?
I lived in the US, actually in San Francisco, and this was a topic I kind of saw there, stumbled upon almost every day walking by the Castro, the kind of the corners of the main streets in the Castro neighborhood, and there were a lot of these young shaggy elves, as I call them, sitting in front of the bank or Walgreens and begging for money, and it became obvious that many of them were queer, and of course it's intriguing what is going on, because this is supposedly the kind of the promised city of the gay community of the world. Like, why are these kids homeless? I also saw some really small articles about some surveys made in the US by national LGBT organizations, and it had come up in those surveys that something like between 20 and 40% of homeless youth belongs to sexual minorities or gender minorities, which is of course a shocking figure. I just felt like I won't find, even though there were, even in San Francisco, there were, the estimates are in thousands of young people in a similar situation, and every year there are new people coming with the similar kind of backpacks and sacks and similar kind of hopes. But something about James was really interesting, and I knew that it would be really difficult to find kid that represents in a similar way this story and the elements that I was after. And I kind of knew, even though of course I couldn't be sure that his story will lead also to the story of the parents, which felt that was important.
The traveling shots that you're using, this kind of, I think these are very strong, and in the fabric of the film it's decisive, you know, somehow that you hear the voices on this and you travel with them. And how did you reach to this solution?
Well, there are two elements. One of these, what we called voids, like void kind of these places, and then of course the material that kind of reflects him as a young boy. Those were elements that I needed when, at the point when I felt like I had shot maybe not even half of the material. My main character is in prison. So it was kind of like, okay, that's it. There's no way of like making a film out of this. I can't be like shooting like a prison wall for the whole last 30 minutes or whatever. And it kind of pushed me towards these solutions, like where can I go? And the third element was of course kind of switching to the perspective of the mother, which also started feeling really important. So through these Steadicam shots, I think it was somehow trying to reflect or make this kind of space where homeless people, like this kind of invisible city, invisible places that this invisible other side that is right there that we don't, that's a really peculiar mental state for people who are not homeless in the United States, when how you get used to it, like how you have to get used to it, and how you can kind of like you walk by people, one old, young, middle-aged, sleeping there every day, like it's like a routine.
Do you also see a solution for these minorities? Because you only show us facts, but is there a solution for them? I don't know.
I think in many cases the solution is what the only solution that makes sense. But if there's no any program or any politics or anything that can kind of force it, other than, well, the solution, what happens to James? His parents eventually come to terms with him. That's the source of the problem. That's the source why, like, these kids are homeless, because they can't be with their parents or in their community. And somehow the healing that is, of course, eventually happening, that the parents realize that they are the ones who are losing their children, because there's this almost like this witchcraft, like it's so demonized that people, because you can't imagine what is so evil that you kick your own child out and put them in life danger. So, of course, there's a lot of programs that helped homeless people in general, homeless kids in general, and also lots of programs, more and more, of course, not enough programs that help LGBT youth in this particular situation. San Francisco has good programs, but it's a band-aid, because it's as long as young people, however well, some really did well. They survived, they got education, they went to school, and there are a lot of survivors. But it's a wound that no one can, like, if you lose your relationship with your family, it's a huge damage. It's a huge wound, and I don't think any kind of program can heal it.